In the shadow of light. Once upon a time there lived an ordinary man. It was a spring day when someone knocked on his door. As he opened the door, he saw an extremely fat man whose clothes were gorgeous. He wore rings on his fingers and toes, of bracelets on his wrist, and a necklace around his thick neck. The stranger was really short, but he held his head up high. It was adorned with a crown of pearls, which made him look taller. There was something ominous in his glance, yet the ordinary man was so mesmerized by the stranger's appearance that he didn't notice it. He was looking at him with undisguised admiration. "Welcome, noble stranger," he said, bowing his head. "Who are you?" "I am Wealth," he replied in a voice full of scorn, without bothering to greet the man he visited. "What can I do for you?" "You? For me?" The stranger grinned wickedly. "I've just said I am Wealth, the greatest power in the world, the key to happiness. No one can do anything for me. But if I honor someone with my attention, it is the greatest honor one can hope for. Bend the knee and worship me. In case you do so, I'll stay in your home and give you everything you wish for." The ordinary man was apparently astonished. He could not believe that this admirable stranger had chosen him. How could he resist? Of course, he would kneel before this man. Of course, he would worship him, if that was how he could make him stay his honorable guest. He was so blinded by splendor that he never realized how ugly wealth really was, and after he became richer than he thought anyone could be, he cared for nothing else. Wherever he went, he found gold. Wherever he looked, he found gems. He spent his days worshipping wealth and his nights trying to count his uncountable fortune. From then on, he referred to himself as a wealthy man, and if anyone from his surrounding tried to warn him about the dangers of this kind of wealth, he burned all the bridges between himself and his loved ones. One day, like many days before, the wealthy man was counting his riches with utmost enjoyment when a golden-clad young man appeared before him. The wealthy man was breathless. He was deeply impressed by the newcomer, who was the physical opposite to wealth, though they shared the same excessive conceit. This man had a very delicate face and dark hair which fell on his shoulder in a silky cascade, or so the wealthy man saw him. "Who are you, divine stranger?" "I am Glory," he answered in a loud voice. "I am a good friend of Wealth. I've heard he was staying at your home. Thus I decided to join him. You know, it is worthless to multiply your riches if fame doesn't come with it. Build a throne for me. I will be your king, and I will elevate you." The wealthy man fell at Glory's feet. He worshipped wealth. Now he would worship Glory as well, and with the help of these two, he would achieve much more than he ever dared dream of. He had a throne built for Glory, and Glory was true to his word. So the wealthy man had become known as Glorious Man. His fame spread far and wide, knowing neither obstacles nor rivals. Wherever he went, he was greeted by great cheering crowds. His remaining friends warned him that this kind of manifestation of glory was empty, but he was certain they were only jealous. so he distanced from them until the abyss between them was unbridgeable. Once, when the glorious man was enjoying the company of his admirers, he noticed a butterfly lady who flew out of the crowd. The man stared at the young, beautiful woman in fascination and was unspeakably happy when she stopped in front of him. "Who are you, enchanting creature?" "I am Joy. You see, you have everything, wondrous wealth and worldwide glory. Nevertheless, you feel lonely almost every day, but certainly every night. Build a castle. I'll be your mistress, and I assure you, you'll never be bored again. As soon as you have my castle built, it will be loved with music and laughter all the time. Take a look at those young girls. You can have any of them. Don't worry if they object. They do because they are too modest or know that they are unworthy of you. I'm telling you, these beautiful ladies are yours, just as you can pluck each flower in your garden. You will get tired of them, but then you can gamble with some men. Just think about it. Whenever they lose, your wealth will grow." The glorious man could not and didn't want to resist this tempting offer. He immediately had Joy's castle built, and everything turned out the way the butterfly had promised. His home was loud with laughter and music, and his life was nothing but fun. He plucked every flower in the garden and let them wither when he no longer wanted them. His obsession with gambling multiplied his fortune indeed, and he never gave a second thought to that many honest men had had their lives destroyed. He was in a cheerful mood as he has never been before. Therefore, he thought to himself that there was no need to refer to himself as wealthy or glorious man, for he was a joyful man. Time passed, and the joyful man's fortune and power kept growing. He was traveling the world with his 3 companions, wealth, glory, and joy. One day they were carried in their carriage along the road when another carriage approached from the opposite direction. That other carriage was not half as luxurious as the joyful man's vehicle. Nonetheless, there was something about it that the joyful man missed and wanted to possess, no matter the cost. When the 2 carriages met, neither of them drove by, both stopped. The joyful man was taken aback by the fact that the woman who drove the other carriage did not greet him with the reverence he was accustomed to. In fact, she didn't bother to greet him at all. There was something about her, some kind of dignity or nobility, that deeply impressed the joyful man, and of course he didn't notice how artificial they were. "You must have come from afar, my lady, since I've never seen you before," the joyful man said. "I've been around the world," boasted the stranger. "I have a very important mission, namely, to exalt the worthless and humiliate the praiseworthy. You did not know me because you were not ready to get to know me. You've been pursuing wealth, glory, and joy. I didn't want to be involved with those, but the time has come for you to meet me. I can't wait to know who you are. I am Pride. Whatever you possess is worth nothing without me. Have a look at my carriage. It is not as rich as yours. It is not adorned with a noble crest, and there's no one to entertain me. Still, it is superior to yours in some way. Build a sanctuary in my honor upon the highest peak of your estate, and I'll give you all my majesty." The joyful man felt that pride was all he needed for complete and happy life. So he built a sanctuary for pride in the middle of his land and his heart, and he had become a proud man. The proud man and his companions kept on traveling a lot. Wherever they went, pride was always to show up first. Wealth was on the proud man's right, while glory took his place on his left. Joy, being a butterfly lady, kept flitting around them. Pride advised not to interact with the crowd of commoners that appeared to greet them, so from that day the proud man had never given people a glance. It happened on one of the journeys that a little boy was standing in the middle of the road right in the way of the carriage. "Stop! Don't you see we've almost run over the child?" Wealth and glory had not even noticed the little boy, but then they were indignant with the proud man's behavior. Glory went pale, while wealth growled with dissatisfaction. They couldn't grasp why they should care for an unknown child. The boy, however, kept standing in the middle of the road, so the proud man decided to speak with him. Joy started whining that it was a waste of time. Pride frowned. Her face became even uglier than it was, but the proud man got off the carriage anyway. The lonesome boy looked rather fragile, yet there was something special about the way he looked, as though he was shining from within. His eyes were deep and clear, but indisputably sad. "What on earth are you doing in the middle of the road, boy?" the proud man asked. "I've been waiting for you," the child replied in a pleasant, ringing voice. "I have an important message for you from the depths of your soul." "I don't think I understand what you are saying. First of all, who are you?" "I am Virtue. I must let you know that the company you are traveling with has ruined your life and poisoned your heart. I've come to put an end to it." "If you listen to the kid, you'll have to say goodbye to me," Wealth interjected. "Your wealth has never been truly yours, because you've never worked for it," Virtue remarked. "It was stolen from others and given to you. Please, come with me, and I'll show you how to earn your living and acquire real values." "Go with him, and you'll be as rich as a beggar," Wealth roared. "You can work day and night. You'll have nothing." "Listen to him, and I am leaving you," Glory exclaimed. "I am ruthless to those who renounce me." "Blessed will be the day when you reject this kind of glory and he rejects you," Virtue cried out emotionally. "Your so-called glory is a mere show. There's no merit behind it, only power gained with blackmail, bribery, and intimidation." "Power is power," Glory said harshly. "All those who do not possess it are fools, rabbits, torn apart by beasts. But this is not the beast's fault. He who is unable to rule his life doesn't deserve one. We've heard enough. Let's get out of here." The proud man's feet were rooted to the ground, so Joy flew to him and wrapped herself around his neck. "Sweetie," she began in a sweet voice, "if for some stupid reason you choose him, we can no longer be together, you know. The castle you've built for this butterfly, Virtue interrupted, is always surrounded by dark clouds, because of the pain you caused others with your sickly pleasures. There is laughter and music, but there are also the cries of those you dishonored, one way or another. Thank you for entertaining us, child, Joyce said with a grin. It was a really useful meeting. Now, proud man, take a look at this poor boy and then take a look at us, your loyal friends. I'm sure that difference you'll discover will make you appreciate all you have even more. Joy turned out to be right. The proud man took a look at the boy and found his face too thin, his clothes torn. Then he looked at his carriage and once again realized how lucky he was. He felt kind of ashamed for wasting so much time on the helpless child. Still, he ordered his servants to give the boy some sort of alm. Glory arranged it so that the whole surrounding would witness it, so they'd sing songs about the proud man's generosity. After that, the whole party left. One evening, the proud man was alone in his chambers, when suddenly the door opened and an unknown woman entered the room. This woman was neither young nor charming as the proud man had seen Joy, yet there was something special about her. The visitor did not sway as pride did, yet she moved in a rather sophisticated manner. The proud man was mesmerized. His heartbeat quickened, and probably for the first time in his life, he was speechless. "Don't be afraid," the mysterious visitor said. "I'm not here to threaten you. I'm here to help you." The woman slowly approached. Her beautiful face was serious, but there was light in her smile. "You have no idea how I can help you, have you? Well, it's simple. I have to save you from yourself, because despite the appearances, you don't love yourself. You gave your life into the hands of unworthy, wealth, glory, joy, and pride, yet you sent virtue away, the only one who cared for you. I'm here to attempt to guide you to the truth." "May I ask who are you, if you claim to know what the truth is?" "I am love. I know lots of people do not believe I exist, but I am the force that holds the universe together, the cause and the goal." "What makes you think I need you?" "When wealth entered your life, you were in your vernal days. He was followed by glory, joy, and finally pride. Now it's summer, which is coming to an end. Your fortune is great like a fruit tree, which brought a rich harvest. But if the fruits overripe, they fall from the trees, and only worms would get them. You may say that there will be still enough fruit on your tree, but a windstorm or hail may come, not to mention that sooner or later each tree dries up and dies. Once the tree is gone, there won't be any birds to nest on it. You may figure out what that means. Those birds that once praised you will fly away at the first sign of autumn, and the silence they leave behind will be heartbreaking. When there are no birds left to sing about your glory, it will cease to exist. My trees will not perish, and my fame will remain forever, the proud man replied stubbornly. But even if everything were to perish, Joy would stay by my side. She promised she would. Joy? Love gave a sad laugh. As soon as the butterfly senses that bad times are coming, she'll be the first to fly away.
Are you trying to say that you're the only one who would stay?
There was mockery in the proud man's voice. Yes, Love replied honestly. I am real, unlike those who call themselves your friends. They will leave as soon as autumn comes, but I won't go away. I'll be your shelter in the rain and your warmth in winter. Together we can await the new spring. The proud man tried to touch Love, but she began to retreat. This rather confused him, for he wasn't used to anyone moving away from him. You have easily obtained whatever you desired, but I am neither a jewel to be stolen, nor fame that can be gained by lies. I am not momentary pleasure or false triumph. I have come to you, and I am ready to accept you the way you are, but I will not be your trophy like everyone else in your life. I want to be your wholesome partner. At that moment, Glory entered the room. As soon as the proud man glanced at him, he no longer saw Love so magnificent. Her gentle beauty began to fade in comparison to Glory's confident appearance.
Shame on you, proud man, for even talking to this woman. She's a friend of the weak, but we thought you were strong. Moreover, every word she spoke was a lie. None of us has any intention to leave you, not unless you send us away. But if you join her, it's all over. And remember, she is the one to take everything from you, not us.
Let me add that you are extremely ungrateful, proud man. Joy flitted into the room with these words. I was the one who showed you into the world of pleasures, yet you throw it away for such a mediocre creature. Wealth and pride also joined the party by then. From that moment on, the four friends kept shouting arguments, all in their favor and against Love. As the proud man listened to them, he felt more and more ashamed of being so impressed by Love in the first place. Love was not at all angry with him. She was watching him with compassion. Although glory, wealth, pride, and joy, love of unspeakable sort of things, none of them paid any attention to her person any more. For the last time, she looked at them sympathetically and retreated in silence. She didn't slander or threaten anyone. She only wept silently in her heart.
Autumn came.
On a gloomy day, Wealth told the proud man that he was leaving.
I've spent a lot of time with you. It's time for me to be worshipped elsewhere. Life is a journey after all. You owe me much. You have to be grateful. But I want to be worshipped by others now. That's what the cycled nature of life demands.
Long ago, when the proud man chose Wealth his master, riches flowed to him like flood. Now the opposite was happening. All his treasures flowed away through his fingers, and he wasn't able to keep any of them no matter how hard he tried. He was observing the process helplessly, in the end of which he became the poor man. Glory's throne was still standing, so the poor man ran to his king desperately, hoping he would give wise advice and get him out of trouble. Yet he found Glory in great haste. It seemed he wanted to disappear as though he had never been there. "Where are you going, my king?" asked the poor man.
Your king? I don't even know you.
Of course you do. I was the one who had your throne built.
You? Glory laughed evilly. I belong to the winners, but you are obviously a loser. I have nothing to do with you.
Glory fled at once, and the poor man was left all alone. As he stood there confused, he suddenly remembered his solace and began running again. He longed for Joy, his dear butterfly, more than ever. She would comfort him and satisfy him in all ways. But it was extremely difficult to find Joy. It seemed like she had vanished. The poor man found her after a long while. She was in the company of another man. Joy, sweet mistress, the poor man cried. The charming butterfly flinched and looked at him with disgust. Here you are at last. Come, hug me. Take your dirty hands off me, the butterfly hissed. Then she added in a softer voice, You know, poor man, I am Wealth and Glory's companion. I go where they go. If they leave, I leave too. If they ever return to you, I'll also return, you'll see. A moment later, Joy was coquetting with her new partner, and she had never thought of the poor man again. After this humiliating scene, he was not only a poor man but also a miserable man. He had no idea where to go or what to do, so he just kept wandering about, overcome by sorrow and rage. When his feet carried him no further, he collapsed on a bench and began to sob.
What a shame, said a voice behind him. You are pathetic.
As the miserable man raised his head, he found Pride beside him. Are you still here? He asked in surprise.
Why? Where should I be?
I am not free to come and go like Wealth, Glory, or Joy. I am here to crush you completely or force you to get your life back. It's up to you. Do you want your friends back? Well, as long as you whine here, nothing is going to happen.
Don't listen to her, a new voice interrupted.
The miserable man turned his head towards the voice and saw a young man approaching with dancing steps. His clothes were simple but tasteful. His face was calm and radiant. He looked serious, but his lips curved into a smile, and his eyes were sparkling brightly.
Look at this creature, miserable man. He is the embodiment of ruthlessness. Is this what you want to become? Pride snarled.
Worthlessness, the stranger repeated. You hit the nail on the head. This description perfectly fits you, Pride. Unlike you, I am real. They can see me. They can touch me. They can rely on me, while you are nothing more than an illusion. You appear to be rich and dignified, but if anyone ever touched you, they would realize that you are just a cloud easily blown away by the wind. You are the mist that vanishes with the first ray of the sun.
You call yourself friendship, yet you say that I am an illusion. Pride sneered.
I don't know any more what friendship is, the miserable man said. Friendship is the purest and most selfless relationship between people, which demands trust and loyalty, but in return it offers understanding and support.
Friendship is the vainest thing in the world, Pride insisted. All you can expect is that others will use you.
Look at yourself, Pride, Friendship said. You are useless. What's more,
You are unviable. That's why you go about the world and act as a parasite upon naive people, claiming that you are indispensable. Wherever you go, you bring pain and ruin everything. Leave this miserable man alone. Let him fix his life. Can you hear that, miserable man? Remember, if I leave you, the last link between this depressing world and the wonderful world you live in will be lost. She is the last partition between the false world you lived in and the real one that may open up before you. In my world, nothing is given easily, but what's precious is truly precious. There are no ugly creatures dressed in jewels, no faceless ones wearing the mask of glory. There are no vicious tempters who disguise themselves as butterflies, no ones who deceive everyone with splendid life, but are unworthy even of poverty. Let me remind you that wealth gave you fortune, glory gave you fame, and joy gave you happiness. Pride listed. Don't let this loser make you believe that those were not real. What can he offer? Hardship? Never-ending work, which won't make you rich, won't lead you to fame or power, and won't bring you the slightest bit of happiness. You can see what their world has done to you, Friendship remarked. Come with me, and you'll no longer be exposed to loneliness and spiritual darkness. Step by step, you will gain everything that was meant to be yours. Namely nothing, Pride cried and violently seized the miserable man's arm. Let's get out of here. And you? She turned to Friendship. Never dare bother us again. Winter came. The miserable man's circumstances had never been worse. Therefore, weird thoughts nested in his mind, or rather in his heart. He thought it would be appropriate to make peace with those whom he hurt over the years. He didn't necessarily expect that they would help him, but it would bring a kind of relief to his soul. What? Pride screamed when she found out. You, who had everything, would humble yourself before those who are unworthy of you. You should pull yourself together instead and regain everything that is yours by right. I've tried. I've taken all your advice, and look where I ended up. Are you blaming me? No, I have only myself to blame, and I'm the one who has to make things right. You don't say you send me away, do you? Pride's voice sounded terrified. Yes, go away. I don't need you anymore. You are finished. However, it was Pride who was finished. At first, she swelled into a bloated, shapeless apparition before vanishing with a sharp pop. Silence fell. Complete silence. But there was something in it that the miserable man had never experienced before. He felt greatly relieved. It began to snow outside. Light snowflakes were falling soundlessly on the ground, covering the decaying leaves in a shroud of white. As the miserable man was contemplating his life, despair gradually was replaced by a soothing resignation. Night's darkness had already taken over everything when a gentle knock was heard on the miserable man's door. He pretended not to hear anything. Perhaps he was afraid, perhaps ashamed. The knock repeated, though it was not violent. The miserable man finally walked to the door with heavy steps. His hand was shaking.
as he reached for the handle. As he opened the door, the night's darkness and the winter cold filled the hut, yet the miserable man could not make out who was standing outside. "May I come in?" a stranger asked in a whisper. "Why would anyone wish to enter the miserable man's home?" "You've just answered your question. I really want to come in, because you called yourself a miserable man. I would have come sooner, but you would have not noticed me, since there were times when you considered yourself to be a happy man. Come in, if you want to. I don't think I care." As the mysterious guest stepped out of darkness, the miserable man saw a young lady who was really thin, nearly transparent. She wore a white gown which slightly sparkled, as if it was made of starlight. Her face was extremely pale, but it had an inner illumination. Her beauty was elusive, and she looked like she would vanish like mist any moment. After a while, the young lady began to speak in a whisper. "You let wealth into your life back in your spring days, because he enchanted you with his treasures, his attire, his promises. You never bothered to take a close look at wealth's face, otherwise you'd notice how ugly he was, but perhaps you wouldn't have cared. If you observed him, you would notice that wealth had no eyes, only two small black holes, revealing that he had no soul either. Fortune was everything you cared about, and you turned a blind eye to how it was acquired. When you lost your riches, you grieved over them, but you never regretted anything. Only now, in your darkest hour, you experienced what you have done to others out of greed. Wealth itself is neither good nor bad. It depends on how it is acquired and what it is used for. Glory is wealth's companion, so he found you as soon as you become rich, and you worshipped him so eagerly. You found him good-looking, you admired his delicate features and his shiny hair. You'll be surprised to find out that your glory had no face. He appeared as perfect as a sculptor's masterpiece, because he wore a mask, and his silky hair was just a wig. You have no idea how many worthy people were trampled by your so-called glory, in order to place you where you were and where you did not deserve to be. Where there is wealth and glory, there is joy who looks charming, but is ugly and deceitful within. The truth is that only men who have blurred vision like you did see her as a butterfly. In reality, she is a reptile. She ruins hundreds of people in order to give momentary pleasures to her victim, but in return she captures his soul. Pride was the uncrowned queen of your delusion, and you kept her by your side for too long. She has been one of the most dangerous illusions ever since the world has begun, and she has destroyed too many lives. A part of your soul, however, knew you were lost, therefore it sent virtue, love, and friendship to you, but you chased them away. When the stranger fell silent, the miserable man suddenly felt that tears were flowing down his face like streams of fire. All his feelings that he suppressed over the decades burst forth with elemental force. No longer was he tormented by the loss of fortune, fame, or pleasures, but by regrets and the wasted time. Who are you to know my life so well? I am Hope. All you see is a faint shimmer now. If you allow me to be the part of your life, my light will grow, and it will shine for you every day. But if you reject me, the light will go out. You'll be left alone in the dark forever. You are the one to decide.
Decide? Do I have a choice?
You've always had a choice.
Hope's voice was much more decisive now.
You may stay here, waiting for the eternal night to engulf you completely, or may start a long and difficult journey that can lead you to the new dawn. After you face yourself, you must find those you mistreated when they tried to warn you about your false friends, because you were sure they were jealous. Then there are friendship, virtue, and love. If you let them accompany you, you'll never have to live terrible nights like this. You've been living in the shadow of light all your life. Now it's time you stepped out of the shadow into the light. I am offering you the promise of the new life, so you can become the man of hope.